Hey everyone, welcome to my presentation on experiential learning and my training topic of Intro to Service Center Desktop. The company I work for is called Oppenheimer Funds. Recently we were acquired by Invesco and they set to buy us out. So with this acquisition, not only are we learning new negotiability rules, but we're also learning the new system we will be using once on Invesco. The learning event that I attended was called Intro to Service Center Desktop. How this worked was every day in the month of February, the training team at Oppenheimer hosted 2 sessions a day, once in the morning and once in the afternoon, and class sizes were about 13 to 16 people. So that's a lot of people every day for the whole month of February. The participants varied greatly between new and tenured individuals, as long as leadership, supervisors, and frontline staff. This is one of the new systems employees will be using once on Invesco. There were 4 main objectives for this course. The first was to be familiar with all the different search features. The second objective was to be able to locate accounts and customer files within the system itself. The third objective was to be able to understand how to access and interpret information within the system. And the fourth and final objective was to be familiar with the information available on the different scenes and screens within the system. Experiential learning can be described in a couple of different ways. First is to apply knowledge and conceptual understanding to real-world problems. And a second definition is the knowledge of results from the combination of grasping and transforming experiences. Some learners experience Kolb's 4 learning styles. From closely watching, it is my opinion that most of the learners fell into the categories of a diverger, assimilator, or the converger. The learners would watch the instructor and then do the requested activity. During the scavenger hunt, the learners had to think about what they just learned and then put that learning into action. This is a direct reflection of Kolb's learning styles because the learners either felt or thought about what to do and then completed the activity. In both sessions, emotions seemed to be fairly content amongst the learners. For the most part, individuals were happy to be learning and taking the next steps towards acquisition. There was lots of positive feedback when the system displayed a neat feature, and there was small chatter and smiles across the room. Many of the customer-facing associates were pleased with how the system displayed everything clearly and how that would assist them in doing their daily tasks. As Abe explained, emotions can help with creative and flexible thinking and can assist with problem-solving and coping skills. This was apparent when learners were asking questions and actively participating in the group discussions. There was a sense that the associates wanted to know more and were curious, which was helping with their problem-solving and creative thinking. Reflection was another aspect that was incorporated into the Intro to Service Center desktop trainings. Whether the learners were aware of this aspect, it was utilized. Brown et al. Summarized that learners' development was improved because often they make connections to other real-life situations and seek to apply new learning immediately. During both of the training sessions I attended, at the end of the course, learners were given a scavenger hunt to find things that were addressed during the course. These were things they would be utilizing daily during their normal tasks of helping customers. This scavenger hunt directly correlates with that quote from Brown. Prior experiences were utilized during the training sessions too. Throughout the course, the instructor continually referenced how things were now and how they would be going forward. The instructor tried to bridge that gap between what they already know and what they were learning. There were individuals who had held jobs outside of Oppenheimer Funds that had utilized the systems and already had a basic knowledge of this system. This would help to validate those people's skills and knowledge. There were 2 areas of concern during the training sessions. These were around shadows and behaviors. There was one individual who case in point stated, "Why are we learning this if we are all getting laid off?" This particular interaction did lead to unforeseen outcomes in the learning process. This one statement derailed the class for a few minutes. The instructor handled it well and pointed out that almost 80% of the industry is on this platform, and if they wanted to stay in this industry, it would give them an advantage. The instructor also stated if they wanted to receive their severance, they would need to learn. In my opinion, this particular individual was disinterested for the remainder of the course. He seemed to have an attitude when asked to do anything and refused to participate in the scavenger hunt activity. As Bearden and Wilson describe as disruptive feelings is how I would qualify this behavior. Also, across the board, experiences will differ. No 2 individuals will experience an event in exactly the same way. I would make the following 2 recommendations for future sessions to better align with experiential learning theory. The first recommendation is to have leadership and supervisors mixed into all training sessions and not just into one single session. This would support some of the behaviors by encouraging positive behavior and diminishing negative behaviors, and potentially preventing shadows from occurring. I feel learners would be less likely to speak out in a negative manner with supervisors in the room. My second recommendation is to have a quicker turnaround time for additional trainings or practice. These sessions were in February, and the next round of training for the learners was not until late March. It would have been best to have learners come back for additional training sooner. Leaving a shorter time in between and closer to 1 to 2 weeks maximum would be best for the learners. Thank you for watching.